I wiped my sweaty palms on my jeans, eyeing Dad as he flipped steaks on the grill. The sizzle of meat couldn't drown out my pounding heart. Grandma's 80th birthday bash was in full swing, but I had bigger fish to fry. "You gonna stand there all day or help me out?" Dad chuckled, sliding burgers onto the grill. I forced a smile. "Dad, I need to tell you something." He raised an eyebrow. "What's up, kiddo?" I took a deep breath. It was now or never. "Dad, I'm gay." The words hung in the air, mixing with the smoke from the grill. Dad paused, spatula mid-flip. For a second, I thought I'd ruined everything. Then he looked at me, a small smile playing on his lips, like I didn't already know. My jaw dropped. "What? How?" He laughed, turning back to his beloved grill. "Son, you've been eyeing Chris Evans in every movie we've watched since you were 13. Plus, remember those Barbies you used to sneak from your sister's room?" I felt my face flush. "Oh God, you knew about that?" "Of course I did. I'm your dad." He put down the spatula and pulled me into a bear hug. "I love you, kid. Always have, always will." I hugged him back tight, feeling like a weight had lifted off my shoulders. "Thanks, Dad. I love you too." Still riding the high from Dad's acceptance, I helped him carry the platters of grilled meat into the dining room. The chatter died down as we entered, everyone's eyes on the food. "All right, dig in," Dad announced, setting down the steaks. As we all started eating, I cleared my throat. "Actually, I have something I want to tell everyone." Mom looked up, fork paused midway to her mouth. "What is it, Gabriel?" I glanced at Dad, who gave me an encouraging nod. "Well, I'm gay." The silence was deafening. I could hear the tick of the clock on the wall. Grandma was the first to speak. "Oh, darling boy," she said, reaching across the table to pat my hand. "Thank you for telling us." Blanche, my older sister, grinned. "Finally, I've been waiting for you to come out for years." I blinked. "Wait, you knew too?" Jenna, my other sister, laughed. "Gabe, we all kinda knew. Well, except maybe Mom." I turned to look at Mom, my heart sinking. Her face was a mask of disgust. "My only son? Gay?" she spat. "No wonder you couldn't bring a girl home. Utterly useless." Dad's fist hit the table, making the dishes rattle. "Carla," he warned, his voice low. But Mom was on a roll. "I suppose this means no grandchildren, no one to carry on the family name. What a disappointment you've turned out to be." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. All the joy from Dad's acceptance evaporated in an instant. "That's enough," Dad growled, standing up. "You will not speak to our son like that." As they started arguing, I caught Grandma's eye. She gave me a sad smile and mouthed, "I love you." At least I had some allies in this family storm. Mom slammed her napkin on the table, chair screeching as she stood up. "I can't believe this," she hissed, storming out of the dining room. The front door slammed, leaving us in stunned silence. "Well," Jenna said, trying to lighten the mood that went about as well as expected. I couldn't even force a laugh. "I'm sorry, Grandma," I mumbled. "I've ruined your birthday." Grandma waved her hand dismissively. "Nonsense, dear. The best gift is you being true to yourself." Dad put his hand on my shoulder. "You okay, kiddo?" I nodded, not trusting my voice. Blanche reached across the table, squeezing my hand. "Mom will come around, Gabe. She just needs time." "Yeah," I said, not believing it for a second. "Maybe." We finished dinner in awkward silence, the empty chair at the table a glaring reminder of Mom's absence. As we cleared the dishes, Dad pulled me aside. "Listen, son," he said, his voice low. "Your mother, she's set in her ways. But that doesn't make her right. You hear me?" I nodded, throat tight. "I'm proud of you," he continued. "Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed of who you are. Not even your mother." Later that night, as I lay in bed, I heard them arguing downstairs. Mom's shrill voice carried through the floorboard. "This is your fault, you've always been too soft on him." "Soft?" Dad's voice boomed. "I raised a kind, honest son. That's not being soft, Carla. That's being a good parent." I pulled the pillow over my head, trying to block out their voices, but one thought kept running through my mind. What happens now? I woke up to the smell of bacon and coffee. For a moment, I forgot about last night's drama. Then it all came rushing back. Dragging myself downstairs, I found Dad at the stove, flipping pancakes. No sign of Mom. "This morning, champ," he said, sliding a plate towards me. "Sleep okay?" I shrugged, poking at my food. "Where's Mom?" Dad's face tightened. "She left early. Said she needed some space." "Great. I'd driven my own mother out of the house." "Stop that," Dad said, pointing his spatula at me. "I can see you overthinking. This isn't your fault." The front door opened, and Blanche waltzed in, looking way too chipper. "Morning, fam." "Oh, pancake." She plopped down next to me, ruffling my hair. "How's our little rainbow today?" I groaned. "Please don't start with the gay jokes already." "They're jokes," she said, suddenly serious. But we do need to talk about something important. I looked up worried. What? She grinned, pulling out her phone. Pride March is next weekend and you're going. What? No, I can't. Non-negotiable, she interrupted. Jenna and I are taking you shopping for an outfit today. Dad chuckled. Sounds like fun. Want some company? I stared at them both, feeling a mix of gratitude and panic. You guys really want to do this? Of course, Dad said, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. We're family. We support each other. As if on cue, Jenna burst through the door. Did someone say shopping? I'm in. For the first time since last night, I felt a genuine smile spread across my face. Maybe things weren't okay with Mom, but I had more support than I'd realized. All right, I said, standing up. Let's do this. As we headed out, I couldn't help but glance at Mom's empty parking spot. Would she ever come around? Only time would tell. The mall was a blur of rainbow colors and glitter. Jenna held up a sparkly tank top. This screams you, Gabe. I grimaced. I screamed something, all right? Blanche snorted, tossing me a more subdued rainbow tee. Here, try this. As I headed to the changing room, I caught sight of Dad, looking lost among the racks of flamboyant clothing. You okay there, old man? I teased. He held up a shirt that said Proud Dad in rainbow letters. What do you think? My throat tightened. Dad, you don't have to. I want to, he said firmly. I'm proud of you, kid. Always have been. I ducked into the changing room before he could see my eyes watering. As I tried on the shirt, my phone buzzed. Mom's name flashed on the screen. My heart raced as I answered. Hello? Gabriel. Her voice was cold. I hope you're happy. The neighbors saw you gallivanting around town with rainbow flags. I gripped the phone tighter. Mom, Don't bother explaining. I just called to say I'm staying with Aunt Linda for a while. I can't be in that house right now. So the line went dead before I could respond. I leaned against the wall, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. A knock on the door startled me. You okay in there, bro? Jenna called. I took a deep breath, pushing down the hurt. Yeah, just give me a minute. When I emerged, Blanchard took one look at my face and frowned. Mom? I nodded. Dad appeared, arms full of rainbow merchandise. What happened? As I explained, his face darkened. She'll come around, he said, but he didn't sound convinced. Jenna linked her arm through mine. Hey, forget her for now. We're here to make you fabulous for Pride, remember? I forced a smile. Right, let's do this. As we continued shopping, I tried to focus on the excitement of my first Pride. But Mom's words echoed in my head. Was I really happy? Or had I just blown up my entire family for nothing? The night before Pride, I was a bundle of nerves. My new rainbow tee hung on the closet door, a beacon of what tomorrow would bring. A knock on my bedroom door startled me. Come in, I called. Dad poked his head in. Hey, kiddo. Got a minute? I nodded, making room for him on the bed. He sat down, his Proud Dad shirt already on. Listen, he started. I know tomorrow's a big day. I just wanted to check in. How are you feeling? I shrugged. Excited, terrified. Take your pick. He chuckled. Sounds about right. Then his face turned serious. Your mom called me today. My stomach dropped. And she's trying, Gabe. In her own way, she asked if you were okay. I snorted. Did she ask if I changed my mind too? Dad sighed. Give her time. This is new for her. It's new for me too, I snapped. But I'm not the one running away. I know, son. I know. He patted my knee. But tomorrow isn't about her. It's about you. Your sisters and I, we've got your back. Just then, Blanche burst in, waving a makeup bag. All right, baby bro, time for a Pride glow-up. Jenna followed, arms full of glitter and face paint. Hope you're ready to shine. I couldn't help but laugh at their enthusiasm. Guys, Pride isn't until tomorrow. Practice run, Blanche said, wielding an eyeshadow brush like a weapon. Dad stood up, chuckling. I'll leave you kids to it. Try not to go overboard, okay? As he left, Jenna started laying out an array of colorful products. So full rainbow or subtle pride flag. For a moment, I hesitated. What would Mom think if she saw me like this? But then I pushed the thought away. Dad was right. Tomorrow wasn't about her. Full rainbow, I decided. Let's do this. As my sister set to work, transforming me into a glittery, colorful version of myself, I felt a surge of excitement. Tomorrow, I'd step out into the world, fully myself for the first time. Whatever came next, I knew I had my family behind me. Well, most of them anyway. The morning of Pride dawned bright and clear. I stood in front of the mirror, decked out in my rainbow gear, face paint gleaming. You ready, superstar? Blanche called from downstairs. I took a deep breath, as I'll ever be. Heading down, I found my family waiting. Dad in his proud dad shirt, Jenna and Blanche in matching Yowley tees. Even Grandma was there, sporting a rainbow scarf. Look at you, Grandma cooed, pinching my cheek. Handsome as ever. Dad cleared his throat. Before we go, there's something you should know, Gabe. My stomach tightened. What is it? Your mom, she called this morning. The world seemed to stop. And Dad sighed. She's not coming. Said she needs more time. I nodded, trying to hide my disappointment. Right? Of course. Jenna squeezed my hand. Her loss, bro. Let's go show the world how awesome you are. The drive to the parade was a blur of nervous energy and pop anthems. As we parked, I could already hear the music and cheering. Holy shit, I muttered, taking in the sea of rainbows and glitter. Dad clapped my shoulder. Language, kiddo. But yeah, it's something else. We joined the crowd, the energy electric. People danced, laughed, and hugged all around us. For the first time, I felt like I truly belonged. Halfway through the parade, Blanche nudged me. Check it out, she said, pointing. I followed her gaze and froze. There, on the sidelines, looking uncomfortable but determined, was Mom. Our eyes met. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then, hesitantly, she raised her hand in a small wave. I felt Dad's hand on my back. Go on, he urged gently. Taking a deep breath, I made my way through the crowd. As I reached her, I saw her eyes were red-rimmed. Mom, I said, my voice barely audible over the music. You came. She nodded, lips trembling. I'm trying, Gabriel. I don't understand, but you're my son. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't full acceptance. But as I hugged her, feeling her stiff arms slowly wrap around me, I knew it was a start. When we rejoined the others, Dad's eyes were suspiciously wet. Everything okay? I looked back at Mom, who was awkwardly attempting to clap along to the music. Yeah, I said, smiling. I think it will be. The high from pride lasted for days. But reality came crashing back when I walked into the kitchen one morning to find Mom and Dad in a heated discussion. They fell silent as soon as they saw me. Mom's lips were pressed into a thin line, while Dad looked exhausted. Morning, I said cautiously. Mom nodded stiffly. Gabriel? The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. I grabbed a coffee mug, desperate for something to do with my hands. We were just discussing. Dad started. Your lifestyle choices, Mom finished, her tone clipped. I gripped my mug tighter. They're not choices, Mom. She sighed heavily. I'm trying to understand, Gabriel, but it's not easy. What's not easy about it? I snapped, frustration bubbling over. I'm still me. I'm still your son. Are you? She shot back. The son I raised wouldn't. Carla, Dad warned, his voice low. I set my mug down with a clunk. You know what? I can't do this right now. As I turned to leave, Mom called out. We're having dinner with Pastor John tonight. He might be able to help you sort things out. I froze in the doorway. Sort things out. I repeated incredulously. You mean fix me? Dad stepped between us. Nobody's fixing anything. We're not going, Carla. Mom's face flushed. We need guidance, Robert. This isn't natural. What's not natural is trying to change our son. Dad roared. I backed away, my heart pounding. This was worse than before pride. At least then Mom had just avoided me. Now she was actively trying to help. I retreated to my room, slamming the door behind me. My phone buzzed, a text from Blanche. Heard the shouting, you okay, want me to come over? I typed back a quick yes before collapsing on my bed. So much for progress, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. As I listened to my parents' muffled argument downstairs, I wondered if things would ever truly be okay in this house again. Outside, Blanche arrived like a whirlwind, bursting into my room without knocking. All right, spill, what happened? I recounted the kitchen confrontation, my voice shaking. Blanche listened, her face growing stormy. That's it, she declared, standing up. Family meeting. Now. Before I could protest, she was dragging me downstairs. Jenna was already there, having arrived with Blanche. Everyone, living room, Blanche announced. We're sorting this out. Mom looked ready to object, but Dad gently guided her to the couch. We all sat in tense silence. Blanche took center stage. Okay, let's cut the crap. Mom, you're hurting Gabe. Dad, you're trying, but you're caught in the middle. And Gabe, you're miserable. I'm not, I started, but Jenna cut me off with a look. Mom, Blanche continued, what exactly is your problem with Gabe being gay? Mom shifted uncomfortably. It's not natural. It's against our beliefs. Bullshit, Jenna interjected. Sorry, but it is. Our beliefs are about love and acceptance. Dad nodded. She's right, Carla. Remember, judge not, lest ye be judged. Mom's eyes welled up. I had dreams for him, wife, kids. I can still have kids, Mom, I said softly. And I can still find love. It just might look different than you imagine. But what will people say? She whispered. Blanche knelt in front of her. Who cares? We're family. We stick together no matter what. Yeah, Jenna added, and anyone who has a problem with Gabe has a problem with all of us. Dad put his arm around Mom. Carl, our son, is happy and healthy. Isn't that what we always wanted for our kids? Mom really looked at me for the first time in weeks. I suppose it is. I felt a lump in my throat. Mom, I'm still me. I still love you. I just want you to love me back. All of me. There was a long pause. Then slowly Mom nodded. I'll try. I promise I'll try. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a complete 180. But as we all came together in a group hug, I felt something I hadn't in a long time. Maybe, just maybe, we could make this work after all. A month after our family meeting, I stood nervously in front of the mirror adjusting my tie. It was Mom's birthday, and for the first time since I came out, we were having a proper family dinner. Dad poked his head in, looking sharp. Kiddo, you ready? I nodded, taking a deep breath. As I'll ever be. Downstairs, the atmosphere was different. Tense, sure, but not hostile like before. Mom was in the kitchen, Blanche and Jenna helping her with dinner. Happy birthday, Mom, I said, handing her a small gift. She smiled, a real smile, not the forced ones I'd gotten used to. Thank you, Gabriel. As we sat down to eat, the conversation flowed easier than it had in months. Mom even asked about my new job at the LGBT Youth Center. It's good work you're doing, she said hesitantly, helping those kids. I nearly choked on my drink. Thanks, Mom. That means a lot. After dinner, as we were clearing the table, Mom pulled me aside. Gabriel, I have something for you. She handed me an envelope. Inside was a card for a local PFLAG meeting. I thought maybe we could go together, she said, her voice uncertain. I want to understand better. I felt tears prick my eyes. Yeah, Mom, I'd like that. Later, as the family gathered in the living room for cake, I looked around at the faces of the people who'd been through this roller coaster with me. Dad, proud and supportive from day one. Blanche and Jenna, fiercely protective. And Mom, trying her best to bridge the gap between her beliefs and her love for me. It wasn't perfect. We still had a long way to go. But as I blew out the candles on Mom's cake, making a silent wish for our family's continued healing, I realized something. This was what coming out really meant. Not just saying the words, but living them. Growing, changing, and bringing your loved ones along for the journey. As we laughed and shared cake, I felt truly at home for the first time in months. Whatever came next, I knew we'd face it together. As a family,